and welcome back to the Femina and Grazia Fashion First virtual event to be held between October 30th and November 1. I'm Ruchika Mehta, the editor of Femina magazine, and today I'm chatting with three stalwarts of the Indian fashion industry, and we're going to talk about our favorite subject, bridal wear, with everyone today. Let me start by introducing Suneet Varma. Suneet has been in the industry for almost 3 decades now, known for his bridal wear and couture wear, and a favorite with the NRIs. And I'm moving on to JJ Valaya from the House of Valaya. Hello, JJ.
Hi.
Hi. JJ doesn't need any introduction. Like I said, he sits like a Maharaja there, and his clothes and creations have been as opulent as we see him here. My third guest is the young and dynamic Nikhil Mehra. Hi, Nikhil.
Hi.
Hi, Nikhil Mehra, whose fashion sensibilities have kind of redefined the modern bride. So we have a nice mix of two veterans who kind of introduced couture and like, can I say, the opulent dress wear for brides, and then we have Nikhil who kind of said, okay, the dress down bride. Welcome all of you. Thank you, Suneet. Thank you, JJ.
Thank you.
And thank you, Nikhil, for being part of this.
Thank you.
So today we're going to talk about a very favorite subject with everybody in India, the big fat Indian wedding. And my discussion today is going to be on, is it still the big fat Indian wedding? So let me start with you, Suneet. The big fat Indian wedding over this pandemic has changed the rules. It's kind of redefined the rules. It's no more the big fat Indian wedding, and we are now calling it the lean wedding. Are you with me on this?
Well, lean is always good, so I don't think there's anything wrong with being lean, but as long as you're lean and strong, I think the backbone of the industry needs to be strong. I think the backbone of your design and your own business acumen needs to be strong. So, you can actually be lean, that's fine as well. You don't need to be fat to be able to make money or make noise, I feel, So I think, you have to adapt to times. Everybody has to adapt to times. And I think these times have been very challenging, and also they've come out very unexpectedly. So it's not just our industry, it's every industry. It's the publishing industry, it's the economy in general, it's the steel industry and the petroleum industry. So everybody's had to sort of cut off extra frills and the fringes and really come down to what is the core of their design ethos, what is a DNA that works for them. I feel, yes, brides are definitely not buying as much as, let's say, they used to buy, or the families are not being as opulent, but you also have to understand there are not that many functions. There are not that many guests. There are not that many opportunities for the girls to dress very opulently. But I also feel that, the pandemic will go away, Ruchika. In another 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 years, it'll be a distant memory in our lives. Right. But let's say a wedding is a memory of a lifetime. So that people are never going to want to forget. Right. They will remember that for the rest of their lives, and they'll remember it. My mother still remembers her wedding 50 odd years ago. So I still think that people will want to create special memories. So still they do want to dress specially, maybe not as opulently like you said, but definitely the market is still very much there.
So, Suneet, when you said not so opulently, you mean, is there still opulence? Are people still in a frame of mind for opulence? Are you still even closely selling or probably designing for the girls what they wanted to and the families? Or how has the design sensibility changed?
So we have actually, we've kind of taken a 50% chance there. So we have our very opulent bridal wear, which I guess we are known for. So, you can look at great panels of embroidery from Swarovski Lengas and blah, blah, blah. And you can order if you want that. But we also have a bridge line now. So, things which are cheaper, less opulent looking. Because you also have to understand, Ruchika, not only people do not want to spend a lot of money, they don't want to look boastful. This is really important because the entire sentiment, the entire economy, the entire country. I mean, you're talking about a lot of people's ill health. You're talking a lot of recovering cases. You don't want to be able to be in people's faces and say, well, here's me with my 25 lakh Lenga, for 50 people wedding. It's actually ridiculous. So if it's made us a little bit more aware and also held back, I think it's a good thing.
That's great. JJ, coming back to you, I mean, we've seen some of the most exotic outfits, wedding outfits, the brides looking gorgeous in JJ outfits, walking around. Do you think that's going to come back?
Yeah, I think the bridal season at the moment is merely going through a diet, since you said it was a big fat Indian wedding, and it's transient. And I think I would agree with practically just about everything that Suneet said. But I'd also like to add to that Indians by nature are a very emotional sort of race. And for them, a wedding is not just a function. It's a memory which they want to hold on to for ages. And therefore, I think when this whole thing started, I thought that the season would be pretty much a washout. It's because it didn't make sense. It was a scary sort of scenario. People were not allowed to get together. But over the past months, I've noticed that people have decided to come out of their sort of shells that they had cocooned themselves into, and are actually going ahead and trying to make the most of whatever functions they're having. So, I mean, every time a relief comes that you can now have 100 people or 150, and I believe now it's becoming 200, there's sort of aspirations are also growing along with that. So I really think that we are on a comeback trail, and it's a matter of time. I think by next season, which is, well, a good 8 to 9 months from now, we'd be back in, the glorious Indian wedding, and something that Indians revel in. It's not done because they have to, it's done because they want to. And I don't think that's going to ever change. So we're going through a phase. We have to adapt. I haven't moved away from my signature look. I'm focusing on that. But yes, I've increased the range. So if I was, as Suneet said, we're not selling the 25 lakh rupee line. I mean, that's actually absurd at this time. But there's a whole lot of great stuff that can be done, which is still as relevant and fits the bill, literally in more ways than one.
So, is there still a 25 lakh Lenga buyer? Are there still people? I mean, is there still a market for that right now? I've heard two sides of the story, not now, but even otherwise from people who are marrying. They do. I mean, the bride still says, "I do want to wear the 25 lakh lehenga." And there's another bride who says, oh, no, I mean, come on, I don't want to, I want to hold on to that money. So it is going to affect the fashion industry with these two sentiments, because the 25 lakh lehenga may be one of them. So how do you think, if I may rephrase it, that this is one season that our designers look forward to, right? This is one of the strongest and the most lucrative season for any designer, wedding season. That has been a bit of a hit. So, like I said, is there still a 25 lakh lehenga selling?
Ruchika, is not about the pricing. See, when you create a brand, and now between Suneet and I think we're both nearly 3 decades old. There's an ideology, an aura in place, a brand ethos in place, and anything transient can't change that basic ethos. So, I, as I said, sure, we're going through a kind of a tidal wave at the moment, but things will get back to normal. So when they do, there's a bride or a groom for any bracket. So there are people who want to be simple and rather save the money, but there's others who are saying, well, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I want to go all the way. So I totally, I'm kind of convinced that sentiment is never going to change in India, at least not for the next foreseeable future. What happens, as things go by, you don't know. The other thing is also that whilst the pandemic is negative in more ways than one, there's also a positive side to it. And which is that people have realized that, they need to not only concentrate on gathering, collecting money, but also learn to live their life. And and they've been imprisoned pretty much. So there's that whole sentiment of enough. Now we need to kind of go out there, we need to celebrate, and we need to so my feeling is that once things get better, traveling, having great weddings, have shopping well is going to be something that people are going to enjoy much more, as they would enjoy nature, the planet, and just a more appreciative audience, at large.
Great, thank you. Those were great. I mean, it really is making
Very
sense.
well said, JJ. Very well said.
Nikhil, coming back to you, I think when you guys started off with Bridalware, you had already kind of tapped into the changing consumer sensibility of being not so OTT, not so opulent. The bride wanted to look more modern. She wanted to look more chic. So you kind of adapted to that look. Have you been as affected, or you have kind of sailed the tide?
Firstly, I must say that I'm humbled in this incredible 60 years of experience in this Zoom room.
Collective experience.
The kind of information you're going to get
Actually,
tonight.
90. If you include Ruchika, it's 90 years.
Oops! Thank you, Suneet. Actually, good.
So just to be a part of this incredible room is going to be a learning for me as well. And thank you for having me. As far as the question that you put out, Ruchika, I feel that the pandemic has affected each one of us, and I think it's affected us more emotionally than any other way. And when the consciousness of the entire globe changes in one go, you can be rest assured only beautiful things are going to come out of this. Of course, there are the first few months where we are all going through anxiety and unsurety. But once you pass that effect, you realize you're here on this planet to do something, and this is a good time to do it for yourself. And when I say that, I again went back to the drawing board with my team, and we realized that we were always the anti-trend of the industry, where we made and did silhouettes and embroideries, which were a little, usually would not find such less embroidery on garments which were made for the bride. But we went back to the drawing board and we stuck by it, and we said, this is what we're here for, and we'll continue to do so. We don't want to tap into the markets that Suneet and JJ have. They have a massive consumer base that loves them, and they love them because of their individuality. This is a great time for us to have looked back into where do we come from and where are we going to go. And so, as far as the question is concerned, were we affected in that category? Yes, of course, we were affected, and we will continue to get affected like the rest of the industry. But at least one thing is for sure, that when consumers now go out and buy, they'll be very clear that they want to buy a JJ Valaya. They'll be very, very clear they want to buy a Suneet Varma, and also I feel we will be a part of that group as well, because we will continue to hone the craft of minimalism. And I think if we're able to do that today, we should be fine.
Absolutely. Suneet, coming back to you, I think the latest trend everywhere is going to be matching masks with matching outfits. I'm sure you have also kind of adapted to this. Does it work in a wedding outfit?
Not really, Ruchika. Honestly speaking, I mean, already they're going to be wearing a Zardozi Tikozi. You don't want to wear another one. So I don't really agree with that. I think you have to safeguard yourself. I mean, you have to make sure that the small gathering of 20, 30, 50 people that you have are all tested. Everyone is safe, and basically enjoy that. Because I've said this before as well in the conversation with you, that I don't think that the people want to linger on to the memory of the COVID or the pandemic, to the memory of a lifetime, which is going to be the beautiful memory of their wedding. So I think there's no reason. You want to be cool about it, and you want to wear a beautiful mask, for your mehndi or one of the functions, and that's fine, one of your cocktails. But I really think there's no need to wear a Zardozi mask to go with your beautiful Zardozi Lenga. I think it doesn't work for me.
I was just being socially conscious about this and saying it.
Yeah.
Suneet, what have been the design changes for this season? I mean, the current one, we are still in the middle of the pandemic. So what have been your design changes to go with kind of
Oh,
toning
yes,
down?
yes. So it's been a very very hectic time for us, Ruchika. So in a span of, I would say, less than 6 weeks, I did the Couture Week, which is the Indian Bridal Couture, the Couture Week from FTCI. I did that. I did this massive launch tie up with Amazon. I did that, which is the Suneet Varma ready to wear saris, and I did the Fashion Week, all in a span of 6 weeks.
Right.
And so I've actually been able to see the trend, not only in terms of what people are looking, but what also people are buying. What is the feedback on each of the collections? I think people definitely are looking to buy more toned down things. They want to buy very special things, but they don't want to look like they're being opulent just for the sake of being opulent. I think people are being wise with their money, which as they should be. People are buying fewer things which will last a lifetime. And I think people are looking at more lighter colors, lighter fabrics, lighter feeling in general. Because a lot of the functions are actually going to be either in a gurdwara or a mandir or a small, or in the house, So people can't decorate their houses with big elephants and peacocks, obviously not. So there is a certain kind of grandness that comes with your clothing. If you're standing next to a massive peacock, a mirrored peacock, so then you can wear something very, very opulent and very grand. But if you're doing a small wedding with the Darbar Sahab, or you're doing a small wedding in the house or in your own garden or in a smaller venue, then obviously you will wear more toned down clothing because there is no background for that opulence, I feel,
Right.
So that is definitely the trend.
JJ, what would a toned down JJ outfit be like? I mean, there has to be another line which has come out from the JJ house.
So this is actually, yeah. So I'm a maximalist at heart. I'm anything but minimal.
I called you a Maharaja in the beginning of the chat.
And I have actually not adapted my ethos at all for this phase. But as I said, I've extended my line. So there's a big difference. So it's not that I've started using lighter fabrics or doing lighter colors or making lighter clothes. They're still very beautiful, timeless clothes. And I think that's a key word that as a couturier, we all need to focus on, because sustainability anyway is becoming the buzzword. And after this, even more so. And when we think of it, Indian couture, actually, I once joked about this with somebody that India is probably the only country which is actually producing and consuming couture at the same sort of, pace. So whilst Paris may do it, those stunning, beautiful gowns and all, but there are about 100 women in the world who actually buy it. Whereas in India, we have this whole sort of army of brides and grooms now who want to sort of, look the part. So I think as far as I'm concerned, if I create something today, I want it to last. I want it to continue. I want it to go to the next generation. And quite pleasantly, and this has already started happening over the past few years, that we've had our brides from, 26 years back, 25 years back, coming back with their wedding clothes and their daughters. And the daughters want their mothers, which is our clothes, adapted, for themselves. So it's quite amazing when those packages open and you see a garment you constructed like 26 years back, looking like it was made yesterday. So I think that whole thing of creating high quality product, something that is timeless, something that can be passed down, is probably the finest examples of sustainability anyways. So coming back to the pertinent question, no, I did not change my line dramatically. We just made more beautiful clothes, more smartly, more sensibly, so that all our brides and grooms could enjoy us exactly the way that they have in the past.
Great. So we will be seeing some brides in the same JJ clothes, but brides with 2 people instead of 20 around then, maybe. The Lenga will be the showpiece there and not the 20 people around.
And there's another advantage, Ruchika, which we've not noticed, is because people are not traveling, the digital world has sort of gone to another direction. So we are doing brides in Sri Lanka, in the US, in Nairobi. I mean, it's quite crazy as to how people are now, because they can't travel, it's so much easier to access designers if you have a great website and all, it just works beautifully.
Yeah. You're talking about going global in the wedding, with the wedding thing. I just attended a Zoom wedding yesterday. So I'm like, oh my God, now you're attending Zoom weddings.
Did you throw flowers at the screen? I believe people are doing that.
No, I think
That's quite funny.
Yeah, just imagine.
my friends weren't that innovative. Next time I must pass this on. They missed out on this. So, Nikhil, minimalism, of course, is your forte, and we do see that as you walk out as a bride in a Nikhil Shantanu outfit. How will sustainability blend into this minimalism, especially in bridal wear? Sustainability is going to be the way forward. Everybody is so much more conscious now, and the pandemic certainly has, knocked out all, consciousness in this. How will you blend sustainability in bridal wear along with your minimalism?
This is a very key point, and it's been spoken just right now by JJ, and we've been talking about this for many years as well. So we started a new program called the Buyback Program, which is a circular design program for us. It's re-love, reuse, and re-own. Basically, we invited our consumers to come back with their Shantanu Nikhil pieces and come to the stores. We'll value them, and after you value them, we give them a certain amount for that product that they may have bought even 5 years ago from us. And we take those garments back, we reuse them, we recreate them without putting pressure on skill, and then we sell them again within our stores. Sustainability, this was one of the ways that we wanted to start our endeavor towards sustainability. Needless to say, couture has always been a more sustainable platform than obviously ready to wear. Couture is slow fashion, and the consumption is one is created and therefore it's reproduced for a person or maximum maybe 4 or 5 people. So I feel couture has always been on the journey of sustainability, and now it's even more so. People are reducing the amount of inventory that they're creating for their stores. So let's say you have a 2,000 square foot space. In the past, you would have created, let's say, 300 pieces. Now the pandemic doesn't really allow you to actually go so deep in your inventory, which means you're reducing pressure by buying less raw materials, putting less pressure on skilled labor. So I think sustainability through the pandemic has already happened in the business, the economy of the business, the scaling up or scaling down. So couture really is not maybe the platform where we should not discuss sustainability. It is a platform of sustainability in its own way.
Great. Sustainability, great thoughts on that. That's another big topic one can go on and on about. And
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that the consciousness has seeped into every aspect. And, the Indian fashion industry kind of has really evolved very fast and strong on that. Suneet, coming back to you, you have been doing this beautiful destination weddings for a long time. I mean, you dressed up all the Sindhi aunties and their daughters and the granddaughters also now. And the aunties continue to compete with the granddaughters in wedding.
That is true.
I mean, has it taken away the joy of designing now that you don't see so many destination weddings happening anymore, and you don't have those many 300, 400 outfits to design for everybody in the family? Has it kind of taken some joy out of the wedding season?
So, to be able to tap into the NRI weddings, the destinations, I mean, most the NRI weddings are destination weddings because in the winter time, Indians get married. So we get married here between, say, September and February. And internationally, because the weather changes internationally, it's too cold in the West. The weddings in, say, Vienna or Brussels or London or New York or Paris, all of those happen between, say, May, June, July, which is a slower period for us over here, So it was something we actually thought about very clearly and worked towards. It took us a long time to build that market. I've been doing trunk shows in London, in Hong Kong, in Jakarta, in New York, in Dubai for the last 25 years. Right. It's taken me that long to build that market. So, and it's not, we've never skipped a year. We've never skipped a season. So automatically, because people are so familiar with you, your style, your product, it's very easy for them to reach out to you when their big day arrives. So they'll say, okay, well, I've always loved this, and I'm comfortable buying this designer or his design sensibility, and then they would buy that for the NRI market, for the big NRI wedding. I definitely miss it because there is very little travel. There's very little travel. This entire summer, we've not been able to travel or do any of those big weddings. But interestingly, through the pandemic, we did one wedding in London, which was only through WhatsApp calls and through video chats. We did one wedding in London. We did 2 weddings in Dubai. We did a wedding in Jakarta. And as we speak, we're doing a wedding in Australia, which is actually going to be in November. And they've had a new lockdown come in. Right. So I think what's actually happened is I'll go back to what JJ said earlier. The emotion for the Indian wedding is so strong that people still want to be able to have that connect for a longer period of time. If they've always imagined that they want to wear a JJ Valaya or a Suneet Varma or a Shantanu Nikhil, they're going to wear that. They're going to get that, and they're going to be able to make that memory for themselves. So this wedding that we're doing in Australia, it's a big family. And the mother always said, whenever my son was going to get married, I was always going to get everything from you, and I'm still going to get everything from you. It's not been an easy process because they can't see swatches and they're quite particular, and there's a big family. So everybody wants to wear 3 different pinks. So then you have to approve 3 different pinks. It's a longer and more tedious process. But I think because people are still willing to invest that in you, I'm also willing to live up to that experience.
Great. So you are still experiencing parts of what you would have done in just larger scale. I'm glad that's still happening.
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely I am.
Great. JJ, you mentioned that you have been, you even catered to brides all over the world on, through your e-commerce site. That is something, of course, we've noticed that you got into big time, with your clothes, and that's the new venture, and congratulations on the launch of that. Tell us more about it. That is Bridalware also going to be an e-com proposition? You think brides are also going to buy Bridalware on e-com? I mean, that's a very interesting point.
So I don't think e-com is the sort of crux. The crux of the matter is the digital virtual sort of existence that we have all just come to get used to. Today, and without exaggeration, I'm sure Suneet, Nikhil, everybody would kind of back me on this. I think Instagram is the ultimate sort of showcase of anybody's work. And the amount of people who come onto it and the amount of people who come through wanting to know more about the clothes and eventually them translating into, commercial deals has, I think over the past couple of years, it's changed and gone to another level. Right. Because suddenly, as somebody, it never dawned on me, but somebody just said that when we launched our website about a month back, they said, great, now you have a store in every city of the world. And, that just hits you differently.
Yeah.
Like, actually, you're right.
Well put together, yeah.
Yes, and it was amazing. But I always thought that Instagram, it's happening. We get like 60 inquiries a day, 80 inquiries a day. This is amazing. However, many may convert as a separate issue. But once a website came alive, it just went to another dimension because now people could see the clothes the way they were. Because whenever we express imagery on Instagram or other such social media platforms, they're still stylized and more sort of, more fashion. But when you go onto an e-com site, you're seeing the garment exactly the way you need to. Close-ups, back, front, left, right. So the confidence level in a person goes to another galaxy. And with that started the calls and the video sessions and everything. So I think there's no denying it. Real time and virtual is going to be a parallel existence we all just need to get used to and probably just celebrate both with equal zest.
For sure. But for a bride, the ultimate joy is when she walks into a couturier store and she holds that Lenga, and when she goes inside the fitting room and walks out in it and feels like a bride herself. How do you make up for that fitting and that whole experience of kind of feeling what you do before you buy it? I'm going to interrupt here,
Ruchika. I'm going to interrupt here. I don't think, I would love to hear what JJ and Nikhil will have to say about this. I don't think we can replace human experience.
The touch and feel.
No, we cannot. We cannot.
It's impossible. That's why I said we'll have to
It's impossible. We cannot. We cannot. Even something as simple as so there was a bride who came in. She was actually from Jammu. And she said she always wanted to wear something from us and whatever. So she kept Zoom calling and she kept speaking to my thing. Okay, I love this and I love this, whatever. And then she finally said, you know what, I'm just going to drive down. And I really, really want to try these 3 things. And can you request Suneet to be there? I mean, I was like, okay, fine, I'll just go. She's a nice girl and I'll go. And when she was getting dressed, she loved it. She said, I really want to know how you would want me to look, Suneet. So I changed the veil, I changed the border, I showed her different lining. The border got smaller or got more scalloped. Now that is something you cannot do through a website.
That's right.
That is something you cannot do through a video chat. That is something, that human experience, that human touch, that human instant design reaction that you can get, when you can grasp a moment and create a beautiful memory or imagery, that you can never replace through digital world. Yes, the digital world will take us to another realm of sales, so another realm of technology whereby we'll all, become more accessible, like JJ said, as a store in every city of the world. But I think that human experience is definitely something that will be missing.
I don't disagree with you at all, Suneet. Actually, that's my point was actually more that because of the digital world, our access has increased and more people can see what we are up to. And that changes the dynamics. And we're really talking about this period of time. This is when a lot of people cannot travel, so they don't have a choice. And what we are doing at this period of time. But absolutely, you can never replace a couture moment in a store. And it's still happening. People have started coming back to the stores, and it's sort of getting back into the...
I also feel, Ruchika, that couture is a beautiful relationship between the couturier's work and the person who adorns it.
Right.
And that relationship that starts from the very first sketch till the bride walks out, for that moment and that day, those relationships are continued through families and generations. And that's why when JJ said you've got his older clients coming back with their daughters, it's the relationship. And of course, no digital platform can ever suffice that.
Absolutely. So is there, do you think this, there could be an address to, there could be a way to address the fittings and the experience on e-com? Because if going forward, even if you've now kind of explored the Australian market, maybe somewhere in Melbourne when you weren't present, but somebody's picked up a senior outfit there. Is there a way to
come in?
Sorry.
I've got your question. I think it's a very smart question to have asked. The fit is, I think, one of the most important aspects of any couturier's work. You are recognized and remembered for the fit that you give. And I think you're talking to people in this room who are known for incredible fits.
You guys are the masters. You're the masters of fitting.
I mean, and clients keep coming back for that. So I think at this stage, in this point in our lives, the fit is not even a question. And that's understood because with the amount of, when you talk about accessibility, you can also access the various stages of the garment being made today's day and age. And the fit can be replicated. Of course, the couturiers do that really well when they create dress forms in the size of their consumers and the garments made on that dress form. So to minimize fitting issues. So I don't see that fit being maybe a point that would, deter someone to buy a product in today's day and age.
Great. We hope it goes that way. I'm going to come back to my closing comments and get each one of you to say reinvention has been the biggest take of this pandemic. Everybody and everything has been reinvented. We've reinvented our lives. We've reinvented our whole thinking. Reinvention has been it. Suneet, back to you. Let's start from you again. How are Suneet Varma designs going to be reinvented post-COVID?
Well, I very early on decided, Ruchika, very early on in the pandemic, I decided that it was not going to defeat my spirit. It is just something I had decided. It was not going to defeat my spirit in my design, in my enthusiasm towards fashion, in what I do, in terms of how I live, how I celebrate fashion and design as well. Um, Having said that, we've all had to scale down our businesses. We've all had to kind of adapt to, not having 500 people in the factory and making it to 250 or 300. A lot of my assistants haven't come back because the families wouldn't allow them. So those are those are circumstances that we've all had to deal with. Excuse me. We've all had to deal with. I would say I'm still very, very optimistic. I'm extremely optimistic. I'm very gung-ho about the Indian fashion industry. The season has picked up tremendously for us already. October's been looking great for us. There are NRI brides still reaching out to us. I've done Couture Week, I've done an Amazon launch, I've done a ready-to-wear line at Fashion Week. So, FDCI has been a big support system to a lot of the Indian designers.
To keep this
I don't see us slowing down. I don't see ourselves having to reinvent our lives to suit the purpose. The only reinvention that I'm going to do, which I'm happy to do, is to better my life.
Absolutely. Well, on the personal front.
On a personal front, yes.
We'll come back to the chat on another time. JJ, the e-com site got launched, which was a big one. Going forward?
Well, first of all, we've been also sort of busy because we did the Couture Week, we did the line with Amazon, which was, quite a departure from the normal work that I do. We launched the website, and currently we're working on something really exciting. So hopefully early 2021 should see the light of that. But in my case, call it a quirk of fate or whatever, but I'd sort of taken a sabbatical for about 2.5 years. And we got back into the game actively only last year. So I had already taken that decision that I want to completely redefine the way I work, the way I sell, and to slow down and create pieces that hold value, not in terms of purely money, but in terms of emotion as well. So, and then the pandemic happened. So I just sort of went with the flow. I was already going through that whole sort of, reinvention or redefinition, whatever you want to call it, transition. And then this happened. So currently, for me, it was like absolutely natural. I didn't have to kind of change anything to kind of, you know what I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we've seen a couple of new things come out of your stable this year, and then we're looking forward to early 2021. Nikhil and Shantanu, the brand, you redefined minimalism in brides. That was one new breaking the rules of typical fashion. What's next, Nikhil? What is the new reinvention or the new norm that we're going to see out of you?
So Shantanu and I, we had decided a couple of years ago that we wanted to create for a lot of people and not be bound by seasons. So you make clothes for 8 months and then the rest 4 months, or vice versa. You're sitting, tapping your fingers on a tabla. We decided that we're going to take a massive jump, and we started a new range, a new brand called SNN by Shantanu Nikhil, which is our ready-to-wear brand. And that was a big reinvention sort of for us, because the whole dynamics have completely changed. It's not now make one sample and take orders. You're talking about sizes, color palettes, merchandise plan, massive production, and all of this took the life out of us. But we're really happy that we're now 2 stores, and we're opening a few more. Our target is pretty high and pretty large, and Shantanu will kill me if I don't create enough for him. So I'm really excited about that.
No, that's
and by the way, congratulations, Nikhil. I've been to your store, your store at the Promenade, and beautiful merchandise and very good looking store.
And congratulations on that, Nikhil.
Yes.
Very much.
I think with that, we're going to kind of wind up this session. It's been one of our most enlightened sessions. And I've been honored to kind of speak to the 3 stalwarts of the industry, three of the most talented designers, are masters in cuts, like Nikhil said, masters in designs and embroidery, JJ, and Suneet, a Swarovski man, like we call you.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much, all of you.